Hey, good morning, everybody. Time to wake up. Sunday. That's a good way to wake up in the mornings. It'll get you going. Worcestershire sauce. It'll give you a kick. Kickstart. Want a taste? It'll get you going. Say, dude, you don't need to pee on the bicycle. Well, it's time to get the day rolling, I guess, fellas. I got an idea for old Spidey Man here. Old Spidey Man's a mannequin. Somebody gave him to me. 14-year-old girl painted him up to look like Spider-Man. But thought about painting him black. Or I don't know, do something creative with him and let him hold a sign that says oil changes and details. I don't know, put some wrenches in his hands or something, you know. I don't know, it's just a thought. But I think I'm gonna take this to hard to hold a phone camera or whatever, but it says, my daughter got it for me for my birthday or Father's Day. If it's broke, call Dad. Dad's Garage. It's made out of metal. I'm gonna take it up there and hang it up at the shop. Homeless. First thing I do every morning is I get up and I read my comments. Y'all are my friends, and I sure do appreciate you leaving me the comments. A lot of people are just not into leaving comments. I've noticed that. I've had a couple of people leave comments in my past on this video. Wow, I can't believe I left my Sawzall out here in the back of the truck, man. Dadgummit. That's about a $250 item I'm just fluffing around. Tubeless! But anyway, so when somebody leaves a comment and asks me a question, I think I'm going to start answering them, because, you know, how many other people have the same questions? And one of the questions that somebody asked me was, do I got my license back yet? And the answer to that is no. Yeah, I know y'all are concerned about me, and I'm concerned about myself too. I got some money saved up in a can upstairs, coffee can. And that money is to cover the towing fee for this truck. Okay, whenever you get pulled over and you're driving on a suspended license, the officer does have a discretion to take your vehicle, or he has an option to take you to jail if it's just a suspended license. It's the officer's discretion. Most of the time, the officer will get in some serious trouble if he pulls over somebody and they do not have insurance and it's not tagged and it's not legal. Well, this truck is completely legal. It's tagged. It's got insurance. But I keep that money up there just for the purpose of, if I do go to jail, you know, I've gotten pulled over a lot, you know. I've got a lot of experience of getting pulled over. And it's because I've been that way my whole life, man. I've always just free-willed it, you know. For 16, 17 years, I haven't had a license. And it's because I was irresponsible on one hand. On the other hand, I didn't mind going and sitting tickets out in jail. Because I don't know, man. I just hate paying tickets, you know. And then you say, well, why don't you just get your crap legal and follow the rules and you won't get pulled over? I know. Well, don't got no more tickets now. But I'm waiting till September 1st to go into the DPS office, Department of Public Safety, where you get your license. And they're lifting all surcharges. And I got $8,000 in surcharges. It would cost me $300 a month, which my budget really is it'll really put a hard bind on my budget if I had to pay that. So I'm waiting until September 1st when they lift all those surcharges. And when they lift all the surcharges, then I've been prepared for that. I walked into the DPS and I said, hey, I need to get the book, you know, so I can start studying for my test. And they go, we don't carry those. And I looked at them and I said, what? You don't carry the little book that has the picture of the yellow and the red, the green, and the yellow, you know, a traffic signal? They said, no. It's online now. You gotta take it online. And I'm like, oh my Lord, man. That's the whole point of having the book, is so I could sit down with somebody, they asked me the questions and I could give the answers. And I was just, I don't know, it's just like, it just freaked me out that it's that away now. So I had this vision in my head, man, I can't wait to go get my book. My son is 17, he's fixing to take his test for his license pretty soon. And why don't we just study and throw questions back and forth to each other? So now, instead of doing that together easily, we only have one computer, and man, that's a damper on my situation. It kind of, man, that sucks. Because, you know, I guess one of us could sit in front of the computer and we could do it one at a time. But, you know, when I always took the test with my, you know, friends whenever I was a young kid, we each of us had a book and we'd ask each other questions, and it helped. It was kind of a fun thing to do. It made it fun. And now it's online on a computer, and I hope it's still fun, because it don't feel like it. Another question somebody asked me was, why didn't I paint my headers black? Well, in a hurry. The whole thing, yeah, I kind of regret it. I should have just spent the money to go get some heat temp black spray paint and put on it. But money's tight right now, and you know, it's just money. My budgets are just really tight right now. I was scraping change yesterday just to buy the studs to go across it. And so that's the next thing, you know, next question answered. The Cameo. Thank you for telling me that is a Cameo at my shop. Yes, I found out that that truck is worth a lot of money put together, a lot of money, and the bed alone is $5,000 or something like that just for the bed by itself. No motor, nothing, no frame. Just $5,000 for a damn bed. Dadgummit. No wonder he begged me to please take care of that. You know, so I'm gonna have to take care of that. It's a very sought after item. And then I gotta take the Bombshells car down here to the shop, because I've replaced, and I know I hadn't been shooting videos of this, but you know, I've just whenever I'm frustrated and trying to work on something, I mean, maybe I can just start relaxing around my crowd on this YouTube channel and just let y'all help me. But so far what I've did to that car is, and the embarrassment of buying a car, you know, that bit me in my ass. You know, I've always had better luck than this in my past. When I buy a car, it don't usually go belly up. It's a Honda. It's got 200,000 miles on it, but I know from me driving Hondas around, those things tick and run forever. I've driven one to 350,000 miles, you know, and it was well kept and everything, so I decided to get it. But it came with a I don't know, let's see if it's locked. It came with a bunch of parts in the trunk, so I figured, you know, hey man, somebody's been taking care of it. It came with a distributor, an extra distributor. It came with the radiator. See, it came with this extra distributor in it. And so anyway, I've been having this problem with this thing. Extra coils, all the pieces that go under the distributor, as well as more parts. So I got like, I got 3 parts, anything to do with the distributor except for the distributor cap. I got three buttons, rotor buttons. There's just a bunch of parts that are underneath the distributor. I don't know what the heck that is, but I got 3 of these total, plus the one that's on the car, you know, so coil. And so I figured, you know, why are they keeping the parts? You know, some people just keep parts, but I kind of maybe figured it out, man. They were having a problem with this thing, and they were trying to play, let's guess what the problem is. So I replaced the distributor on it, and it actually stayed running a little bit longer. It stayed running just a lot longer. So I drive it down to the store to go pick up these gaskets for this truck at the auto parts store, and I leave it running. And I go in, got my dog with me, because, you know, I like to let my dog go with me at times, and y'all might think I'm crazy, he's tearing up the car, whatever, man. This is just me. I love my dogs. And yeah, y'all would probably freak out if y'all had a nice, pretty seat like this in your truck and you're letting your dog stomp all over it. But hey, man, here's what it is, man. Maybe you think I got my priorities screwed up, and why would you do that, you know? And I've went through a lot of that on this channel, and people just tell me, be yourself, and if people don't understand why you're doing something, just explain it to them, you know? Well, what's most important is to a lot of people would be, man, don't put that dog in this truck, man, you'll tear it up, you know? It's like, well, I love my truck, and I love my dog. and I love him, don't I, baby? Yes, that's my baby. I sleep with him, and I get flea bites at night sometimes because of him sleeping with me. Yeah. Anyway, so I think it's the fuel pump. I've checked the main ignition relay. I've actually jerked it out, went and took it up there, and I got a good friend that works at Hilo O'Reilly's, and he's from Australia, and I can barely understand him on the phone, man. His accent is so thick, I have to say, like a southern, y'all, huh? And anyway, so I took the main ignition relay back up there, because I put it, you know, before I changed the distributor out, and it did the same thing. It'd run for 2 minutes and then die. Well, it changed the distributor out, the whole thing, because it's already in a box in there, another one. And I noticed that the one that was in the box was a lot newer looking than the one that was in it. So I swap it out. And it ran all the way to the auto parts store, and then it died. And then so I at the moment have the ignition switch completely out of it. Okay, and it's got one wire for the starter, the white. It's got a white wire, and then it's got a black wire. That's the starter wire. The black and white wire is the starter wire, and the black and yellow wire is the ignition wire. It ignites the distributor and the coil or whatever. And then it's got a yellow wire, and that engages the alternator for the charging system. And then it's got another white wire. It's a white and a, you know, solid white with a black stripe on it. It's got a wire. That wire is to turn on the stereo and stuff like that, and the fan. And then it's got, let's see, anyway, it's got about 5 wires. And when I was trying to diagnose it, that's the first place I started, because I noticed that you could, you know, you could turn the key back off and on, and it would start, you know. It would just die, and then you could go click, 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 off and on, and then hold it on, and it would start. So I took that little round thing out there. I guess I could be showing y'all and quit being embarrassed about it, all this crap. Because, you know, some people would look at me and say, dude, you're tearing up your freaking car. But I'm just saying, man, it's just me. I took this thing out, and I noticed that when you tapped on this, it would, when it would start to die, it would, and it would run a little bit longer. So I took the ignition out, all these wires, and I already know what every one of those wires do and what they go for. So I'm gonna put the ignition back in it, because there might be something that I don't understand about those wires. Have to be hooked up in sequence when it runs, or one of them has to be hooked up while it's being started, or 2 of them has to be hooked up while it's being started, and then when you release the key, maybe only 3 or 4 of them hooked up. So, you know, yeah, I'm smoking again. So to execute that and make sure it's still not the switch, you know, it's not like old school crap. You just have a coil in there, an accessory wire, and that's it. Not like this old truck. It's a little bit more difficult. So I'm gonna put the ignition switch back in it. Probably go to a junkyard to get one. Or hey, I got another Honda sitting right over there. But why tear up 2 cars, huh? Just go to a junkyard. Ignition switch costs $50, and maybe put that back on there. Because God Lord, man, this thing is killing me on gas. And if that's not it, I think it's the fuel pump, because the main relay, I've already tried it. I've checked every fuse on it. My honey is getting very upset with me, because it's taking a while to, you know, we got to wait from paycheck to paycheck to be buying stuff for this car to try to diagnose and fix, and I don't have the money to take it to a mechanic. I got to fix it myself, you know. So anyways, and all these cars over here, this is the thing with the shop, all these cars over here, you know, I'm still waiting on what to hear. The guy says, well, I'm going to try to flip them. I said, well, why don't you flip them then, man? He says, well, they sent the titles with me. I said, well, they're going to come talk to you. They don't want to talk on the phone. I said, are they stolen? And they said, no, man. He says that they're just the kind of people that like to get on right in front of each other and talk business. And I go, well, damn, man, it's taking them forever to get over here, and it's on you, man, because I'm charging